Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my regular Wednesday Q&A. It's every Wednesday. It always seems to be at a different time, but here it is. So I just wanted to start off today with a couple of questions that I took beforehand. I thought I heard somebody. That was weird. So I'm gonna answer. I've got five questions. Five questions that I took beforehand that I'm gonna answer here. And if you have a question, just leave it in the comments there and I will answer that. But I'm going to go ahead and answer these five that I have here. Jermaine says, if you had 30 minutes to work on your legs, what would you do? Goal is strength for basketball. Well, I mean, it totally depends. Okay, so you've told me your schedule, 30 minutes to work your legs. Really like to give the best answer, Jermaine. I need more information, namely what your equipment is. Are we talking body weight? Are we talking gym? And how many times a week would you be doing this? But I mean, just the most general answer I can give without any more information than that is just squats. I mean, squats are going to be the best thing you can possibly do for your legs. There's not a whole lot out there that you can do other than some variation of squats. And deadlifts. If you can do squats and if you only have 30 minutes, and I would tell you to spend all your time doing squats and deadlifts. If for whatever reason, you can't squat, if you can't get to depth, if you have a lot of excess body fat, so it prevents you from getting to proper depth and things like that, you can leg press until you get to a squat, until you are able to squat. That's how I'd recommend it, assuming that you mean that you have access to a gym. If you don't, the answer is just body weight squats and different variations of it. So that's how I'd answer that one. Let me know, Jermaine. You can message me if you want and we can talk more. I'm happy to give you more info on that, man. Let's see. Shannon says, coming up with a weekly routine can be daunting. I want to do weight training. Where do I start in creating a consistent, if basic, routine? Again, the more information, the better. But what I'd say with this, Shannon, is if you're new to strength training, which I assume you are because you're talking about having a hard time coming up with a routine and, wanting a basic routine. Man, I mean, the best thing that you can possibly do is stick to the main movements, which would be the main four would be your squat, your deadlift, your bench press, and your overhead press, which is like the shoulder press. So like if you can focus on those, you're going to get the vast majority of your strength and muscle along with it with those lifts. If you have some additional time, I mean, most guys want to work some arms. Those lifts are going to work your arms, but if you want to get really big biceps and triceps and stuff like that, you have to target the arms a little. If you have the curse of small calves like I do, you might want to throw some calf work in, which is basically all just some variation of calf raises. And then ab stuff is good to do if you have time. But if you're limited on time, if you're just trying to get into it, I would definitely tell you to focus on those big four. And how to structure those all depends on your schedule. If you have 3 days, look into a program called Starting Strength. Probably, in my opinion, the best beginner weightlifter program out there. Look into that, and if you have more than that, if you have 3 days, do that. That's a 3-day program. If you have 4 days, just make each day based around one of those four lifts that I mentioned, and then add some accessories to the end if you have time. If you're somebody who only has, if you're somebody who like Jermaine said, if you only have 30 minutes in the gym, stick to those main lifts. Do your warm up sets of them. Do the working sets of them, and leave. If you have not, if you have more time, do those and then build some other stuff out. So just like I said with Jermaine, Shannon, if you want to talk more about that and troubleshoot, shoot me a message, comment, whatever. We can go back and forth a bit more. Joshua says, what is the best way to burn a lot of body fat, to lose like 50 pounds? Man, that is highly subjective. It depends on, the general wide sweeping answer is burn more calories than you consume, right? That's what the science has said. That's what experience has said for decades and decades now. And occasionally I'll have somebody on Facebook or social media somewhere who will try to debate me and say calories are not what's important, but they are. Okay, they are. Every human experience and athletes at the elite level, as well as everyday citizens like us, as well as all the scientific research, says that. Okay, so like that out of the way. Burn more calories than you consume. That looks drastically different for every person. If I'm coaching somebody, I come in, first of all, I come in knowing a lot more about their information, about them, about where they are, about where they want to be, about what's keeping them from getting there, about their history, their schedule, any health issues. So all that has to be factored in. It's hard to give a very, very general answer, but the general answer is to burn more calories than you consume. And my preferred way of doing that is through strength training, because of all that's the method I would say of burning more calories than what you do now. Not that cardio is bad, or not that you shouldn't do cardio. I would just say strength training for the vast majority of people should be the number one priority because of all the health benefits that comes with it. And if you are somebody, if you're somebody whose main goal is to run a marathon or do a triathlon or something like that, then you should prioritize cardio. But anybody else, pretty much, I would recommend strength and resistance training as the main method of burning calories. And when it comes to like consuming fewer calories and affecting that end of it, it looks wildly different for everybody. My best advice generally, without knowing the specifics of your situation, is to consume fewer calories, to track your calories for a week or two, get an idea of where like the majority of your calories are coming in, and then make changes. It doesn't mean you have to cut anything out, but what'll happen is I'll start working with somebody. Suddenly, man, the sun's like making it look like my face is like glowing right now. But like, I'll start working with somebody, and they might suddenly realize, oh, my iced coffee in the morning is 550 calories, and that if you have a 550 calorie coffee, and then you have all your regular meals for the day and a few snacks or whatever, and you're somebody who's trying to lose weight, you've pretty much already blown your calories right there. And that, it might sound really discouraging, but once you do this a little while, and once you try things out, you're going to come to realize like that's, it's not easy, but it's simple. Like you can find it's hard, but it's simple. And you can find ways to find foods you like, stay full and not be starving, but stay in a calorie deficit, because some foods are way more calorie dense than others, and most of the time those are the processed foods. What I typically do is this works well because the people I coach are on strength training programs. The first thing I change for almost everybody, once I see that once I've seen their food for a week or two, is I increase their protein. I have them have a lot more protein than they're having, for two reasons. Number one, it's gonna help them, whether they're a weight loss client or whether they're a muscle gain client or whatever it is. They're gonna get more protein. They need more protein for the lift, but to sustain like their new activity that they're doing with the lifts and to repair the muscle and things like that. But also protein digests more slowly, so it fills you up for longer, and helps you not to be so hungry. So like that's one of the first things I do. I usually will have people add things rather than subtract things. And what you find is when you add protein and then you add some more veggies after that, and then you add some fruit after that, some of the other stuff you just don't have room for anymore. You're not hungry enough for it. And I don't restrict people from things. I don't say you can never again have this or this or this. Like, I know that that's a method. Some people have success with that. Elimination diets like that are not my forte. They are not what work for most people. Some people have success with them, but I will tell you that a lot of the people that who have had success with elimination diets like keto and things like that, some people sustain it forever, most people don't. Like, they'll go keto, they'll drop a bunch of weight, but they don't really understand why it works, so they'll whenever they life hits them hard and they put keto away or whatever, and they just go back to eating how they were before, they don't know how to manage it because all they've done is eliminate something. They don't know, this has this many calories, or this makes me more full here. You know what I mean? So it's good if you're doing keto. I'm not a person against keto by any means. I've seen people have awesome success with it. Done well. It's a good tool. You just have to, whatever you do, you need to understand the methods behind it. I'm ranting too long on this one. Gonna move on here. Joshua, message me if you'd like more info, man. Dennis, a couple of very rookie questions. The first somewhat mirrors Shannon's above. I've got no equipment. I'm wanting to get started on some strength training. What kind of basic routine should I be looking at? I'm going to just say refer to what I said to Shannon there, man, when it comes to what you should be looking at. You said you have no equipment though, but then you said the second one, Christmas is coming up. What could I ask for Christmas to get me started? All right, so what you should ask for Christmas, I don't know what your space is like. If you have a space, a garage, a basement, an extra bedroom, a corner of a room, whatever, like if you have somewhere that you can get a power rack, a barbell, and weights, and a bench, those are the big 4 things you absolutely need for a quality like strength training routine to be able to do those big 4 lifts I mentioned earlier: squat, deadlift, bench, overhead press. If you have those 4 things, you can do the program. There are other things you can get down the line that'll make it better. Things like squat shoes, things like something to deadlift on so it doesn't mess up your floor, things like clips for the bars. Like there are little things that you can add, but if you have a power rack, a bench, the weights, and I would say at least 300 pounds of weights, because believe it or not, you'll probably surpass that pretty quickly on some of the lifts, but at least 300 pounds of weights, and then the bar, if you can get those 4 things, that would be what I would recommend. And man, like honestly, you can find it way cheaper on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace than you will going and buying it new. If you're gonna buy something new, I'd recommend it be a barbell. A rack usually, like if it's any kind of quality brand at all, it stands up for a long period of time, and buying them used is good. Weights they just go on the bar and provide resistance, so it's not like they need to be fancy. The barbell is the one thing that can really kind of like give out after a while, especially if it's not a good one. So those are the things I'd say to focus on. If you don't have, in the meantime, I would say get on a quality body weight routine that incorporates the main things. The squats, the push-ups, variations of the push-ups, like the pike push-up that's going to work your shoulders, anything that you can do, like just look up a solid, or message me. I actually run live body weight workouts Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's like a group training thing, so if you're ever interested in that, let me know, or I'm happy to just shoot you over like a video of me doing one of those. Just if you're not interested in the group, but you're just interested in doing it on your own, I'm happy to just send that to you so that you can be like, oh, okay, here's like kind of how I can structure this. So yeah, hopefully that answers that. Let me know if you've got anything else, man. Rich says protein powder recommendations. Yeah, man. So unfortunately EAS, which was my favorite, got discontinued. So the one that I recommend, I am all about, like, the way that I see this, protein powders, literally, like, you see jacked, like, men and women on the ads and on the bottle, on the tub, you see, marketing done well that's going to make you feel like you absolutely need protein powder and it's going to push you to the next level. Protein powder is just protein. It's all it is. It's to supplement your protein. It's for people who are having a hard time getting enough protein through their diet, whether it's because they don't like to eat that much meat, whether it's because their schedule's hectic and they don't have time to sit down and like chew 3 steaks and a chicken breast a day or whatever, you know what I mean? Like if those are the kind of things, the protein powder are for people to just hit their protein numbers. That's all it is. So that being said, you don't need to be looking for things that have like special ingredients, all that kind of stuff. You need to look for protein powders. What I would recommend is that if you look at simple math for this is a big thing that I like to recommend. So like if you look at it, a gram of protein is 4 calories. Okay, so if you look at the nutrition facts on a bottle of protein, and it says it has 30 grams of protein, which I recommend getting definitely nothing below 25 grams. If you're paying for it, you should be getting at least 25 to 30 grams or more of protein per serving. So I would recommend getting that. But when you look at that, if it says 30 grams, multiply 30 by 4, that's what? 60, all right, that's 160, right? So like that's 160 calories, and then you do have to allow for a little bit of excess there for sweeteners and other like things that preserve it and things like that. You're gonna have to add a little bit in there. So if something's 30 grams of protein, it should be like 200 to 240 calories or something per serving. If it's 30 grams of protein or it's 20 grams of protein and it's a 500 calorie or something like that, or you go with one of the cheaper ones that's like 15 grams of protein, And by the way, they're not always cheaper than the other ones. But if you go with one that's like 15 grams of protein but has 400 calories, steer clear of that because there's a lot of wasted calories in there. This is not like a pleasure food, right? For most people, this is like a food that you're using to help reach your goal. Don't waste your calories, extra calories, on just a bunch of like filler calories and whey protein powders. So I would say focus on that, and then just go with reputable brands. Going into this, you might not know it, but look it up. Look up brands that have been third-party tested. That means somebody outside of their company has tested their product, because there is some shady stuff that you wouldn't believe that happens in the supplement industry. So I would say look into that. My favorite brands now that EAS is discontinued, Optimum Nutrition is awesome. They have like 1 billion flavors. They've been around forever. They have one called Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard. It is their gold standard. It's a good protein powder. So that's my go-to. But like, I sometimes will just get the Walmart or like the Equate brand from Walmart. That's a good one. You can tell I'm not fancy. I'm not here promoting isogenics or any of the big like Muscle Milk, like any of the big brands. If I see them on sale, I might grab them, but it's protein. It's just to help you hit your numbers. It's not going to blow you up or do anything crazy, okay? So just hit your protein numbers and go with reliable brands that don't put a bunch of filler in there. All right, let's see. Anybody have any other questions? Thanks for watching, guys. Waving at everybody right now, even though a lot of you probably aren't here anymore. Travis. All right, let's see. Dre, happy Thanksgiving. Love and miss you too, Dre. Wish we could come down, but maybe next year. All right. Hope everybody has an awesome Thanksgiving. If you see this later and have a question, just comment it, and I'll be happy to answer in the comments. Happy Wednesday and Thanksgiving, guys.